Hey, this is Dr. Bagley. All right, we're going to try this again. I do apologize for earlier if you decide to come on. We just had some technical issues, and I just want to make sure that we're good. And so hopefully this works out. Okay, so today, just to give you a little background, we're going to start all over. So here we go. All right, so when it comes to a relationship, we're going to talk about how a relationship really works because a lot of people do not realize what a relationship how to work. And I know a lot of you are married, some of you are with someone, and some of you guys are single. And so today we're going to talk about the root issues because again, if you went through a divorce, you know that all of a sudden we want to go through a divorce, but what was the actual root that got you to that position? And if you have kids, teens, and so on, this will be a perfect indication, education, I should say, to help them and all of us all at the same time. All right, so let's go. Um, a relationship, and I'll just do some review. A relationship is like equivalent, equally to that plant right there. You see those plants? Those plants. Um, Me and that plant has a relationship. Now, what is it based off of? It's based off of its needs and my needs. So for me, to that plant, I have to figure out what its needs are. So the first thing we must realize in any relationship that your partner has a need, and what your partner's need may not be what your need is. For an example, if that plant who has a need, I have a different need in the relations between me and that plant because it has one way of living, I have a different way of living, and coming together, we can say now we have goals, we can enhance one another, and we can build something off of that. Two individuals having two different needs coming together for a common denominator to grow. Okay, my need is again from that plant that plant in mine is I need to figure out what its needs is. So here's the question for everyone. Ladies, we pretty much know what your needs are. Okay, it's just we security. Let's just round it down to security. We know you want security. Okay, what's a man's needs? Ask your man, if you have a man or if you don't have a man but you're seeing someone, what are their needs? Now, you have to figure out the difference between desire and a need. One of the things we're going to talk about today is the most top 5 most common relationship problems when it comes to relationship. So the needs, quite honestly, is built into this. So without anything else, if you do have any questions, comments, and concerns, please do let me know. And if not, we're going to go right into, let's share this. Okay, let's see here. The five most common relationship problems. All right, the first one we're going to talk about is credit. Credit is the ability to borrow money. Now, why is this a problem in relationships? Okay, so let me break it down. When me and a person was to first date, I want to bring out my best. I want to present my best. Okay, I have a house that is on credit. I have my car that is on credit, and I have a credit card, and we're going on a date on credit. Okay, in this process, when we come together, two people coming together, you have credit, I have credit, or you have credit and I don't have credit. One of the things that we need to realize is when we come together, we are actually bringing financial obligations together, your debt, my debt. Okay, not just the actual benefit of a credit, but it's my debt, your debt. It's if I have a business and my business and I'm single, but I have a business, my financials has to be wrapped around into that business. It cannot be towards you. On the other hand, in that credit position, it cannot be wrapped around you either. You have to contribute, I have to contribute, and in context, the credit that we have, if it's not within a budget that we can manage, then that's going to bring a financial strain to all relationships. Okay? So credit is important. Do you know what credit is? So let's now talk about the economic equality. Okay? Economic equality is I'm working, you're not working. You're working, I'm not working. Okay. We both may be working when we first met, when we got together, but then once we started working, one of us got laid off or got hurt or so on. The economic inequality is an strain to any and all relationships, especially in today's environment where we got the virus, we got hospital bills, we got so on and so forth. One of the things we need to realize is we need an inequality basis of security, meaning you have a bank account for yourself. I have a bank account for myself. There's a bank account for all the bills that we cover. And then there is a security bank account just in case that will not be touched under no circumstances. The problem with economics equality is at the same time the problem of this. And I'll give you an example, a true life example. There was an attorney years ago who was a very good attorney, and his wife, and they both live and they had a certain lifestyle. The attorney then wanted to let his attorney practice go and started a nonprofit organization. Even though the wife says, yeah, that's fine, she did not realize that the equality towards the economics of their lifestyle was a strain. Before she can go to the store and buy whatever she wanted, before she can go out with her friends and hang out and do whatever she wanted, then it became a part when she couldn't. That became a strain, and she did not realize that, and neither did he, quite honestly, did not realize that that change of inequality it is a strain that applies to your lifestyle, and that lifestyle then will be the problem. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. Even though the nonprofit is going goodness, that's still going backwards. So you have to be careful when it comes to growing entrepreneurships and all and so on and so forth. Inflation. Inflation is something I want to put out here. It is a financial thing. Inflation is you have a central bank and the money is given out, let's call it for oil. Okay. We're purchasing and the conversions and all that towards oil. You go to the store and one loaf of bread is $1. Inflation is when the dollars come back to the central bank, the value of that dollar goes down, so therefore it takes more dollars to buy that same product. In this case, it was the bread. So when it comes to inflation, we're looking at 1 year, the bread is $1, the next is 5 or 10. Our economic reasoning, our financial reasoning is not secure, and it never was secure, it never will be secure. This is why it's very important for both parties to understand financial things like what is in economics, what is inflation, what is credit, what is all of that. Come together, talk about it, have a plan how to work it out. Those relationships who don't have a plan, that's a problem in their relationships. So the number one is money. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Inability to listen to others is a big issue. The big issue of let's just simply say, let me get here, right here. I have my cell phone and I'm talking to you and I'm listening to you and I'm working this thing out. But yet I'm right here in my phone. Yeah, honey, what did you say? Yeah, okay, honey. Yeah, all right, honey. Yep, I got you, honey. Um, I'm not listening to you. There is the thought of the inability to listen to you because my attention is focused on something else, like for example that phone. And when you put your attention onto something else and you don't give your attention to your partner, then we have an issue. That issue is the feeling of being disrespected and not wanting my information that I want to give, my information that's in my mind and my heart is not being treated as respect. So therefore, not being respected. So, okay, we'll deal with that later. Is what's going to happen. And even ladies, sometimes on your part, we can give you our full attention, put our phones down, put our pens down, look at you. All right, honey, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? And then we got problems. We'll talk about that part later. But the issue is, are you willing to listen? Like that plant right there. That plant is not going to tell me, listen to me. That plant is not going to say, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. That plant is not going to say, I need some sunlight and so on. That plant is just going to be. Like your relationship, it's just going to be. Eventually, you'll start seeing that plant wither away. When you don't pay attention to your partner, it's withering. You may not see it right away. You may not understand it right away. But by the time you realize that withering is almost at the end of its life, it's too late to try to go back and water it. Okay? The ability to listen to others is very, very important. So please, in the communication, please, please, please communicate a lot more. The next one, the lack of attention or transparency, but it's mostly attention. The transparency issue is this also. Let me explain what I mean by transparency. I tell you, honey, I'm going to the store and get some milk and eggs. You say, okay. 5 hours later, I have not come home. And 5 hours later, I have not come home, and you call me and I tell you, oh, hey, honey, I met my guy. We decided we're going to go to this restaurant. We're going to talk over some things right there. The lack of transparency is communication. The lack of transparency is, hey, honey, can I talk to you? Yeah. And then you put the phone down. Who is that? Oh, nobody, just a friend. The lack of transparency is a problem in communication, but it's a bigger problem in the relationship because it brings doubt. If I say, honey, I'm going to the store, but I don't allow you to know that I went with my guy and we went to a restaurant, that's bringing doubt. When I say I'm going somewhere and I don't let you know when, that changes, brings doubt. You think if I say, when you go to the store, could you let me know you left for there? When you go to work, could you let me know you're there? When you do this and do this, can you let me know? You think that person is trying to keep a hard string on you. You lack the understanding, quite honestly, that you don't realize that it's security. It's security for us as men as well as ladies, okay? The point is, it's security if you say you're going to the store and I know it's a busy, busy day and I know that the news just came on that there's a car accident and you went to the store and you probably don't know about this car accident because I'm listening to the news, or anything could happen out there past the house. It would be nice to know and communicate to me the transparency of what's going on. It is not trying to keep a tab on you. It's trying to understand and have security. If I go to work, would you not want a kiss goodbye? Or at least a goodbye? That's transparency. I'm going to work. I have nothing to hide. If you're on the phone and you're like, who's that? Oh, nobody. It would be nice to know, oh, that was, see, transparency. Without the transparency of a relationship, you're bringing doubt. Trust is the issue, and especially if somebody has trust issues. The best way to build trust in a person or with a person who has trust issues is transparency. The next one, culture, difference in their language. When you have a culture, my culture, your culture, and we don't agree to the idea of learning your culture and it's only one-sided, it's one-sided and it's disrespectful. This may or may not be a defining nature of a separation, but it is a added factor to the stresses within the relationship collectively with others, like financials, that will bring an end to your relationship. Typically, and I'll give you an example, a European white person gets with a, let's say, an Asian person, and the white person doesn't try to learn their language or doesn't try to understand their food. I'm not saying that that relationship is not going to be together. All I'm saying is subconsciously and even consciously, there's a strain of disrespect. How can you want to be with me if you don't even want to be with me? Is the key. Understand their language. Even if you're not fluent or you know a couple of words, understand their foods. And even though you may not like their foods, find a couple of things. There's always something you can find in all cultures that you can like. You may not like everything, but try to find a certain things about that relationship within that person that you're willing to say, I appreciate you. I'm learning you. If you don't, I'm not saying it's not, but when it comes to communication, there is nothing worse in a communication outline than a European white person not knowing what a group of Asian people are together and they not know what they're talking about. There's doubt, there's frustration, and so on and so on. To force them to learn your language only is a selfish position. And how many times have we all heard that you came here, you should learn our language? My answer to that would be, where did you come from? You wasn't born in this land. Your whiteness was not born in this land. Your blackness was not born in this land. It was brown-skinned people here. So whiteness came from somewhere, blackness came from somewhere else. And when whiteness go back to whiteness, quite honestly, I don't think they will know how to speak fluently over there because it is quite different. And we need to treat each other's culture as a respectful thing to that person within that relationship, as to be honoring to that person. Okay? All right, so that's something I want to talk about. That in these 3 points of communication, again, this communication typically starts off very slowly and it gradually climbs to a divorce or a separation. Okay? Add communication with money, that's a double whammy, that's slowly climbing towards a divorce or a separation. Okay. Household responsibilities, cooking and cleaning, taking care of your children or older adults and other dependent family members. Here is a social position, okay? The social position is adaptable, okay? Before, the role of a woman and a man was set. I'm not saying it was set in stone, but it was just set in general. And even today, it's still somewhat set. The idea that a woman is to take care of the house because she's the nurturer, she takes care of the house, she's responsible of the house, everything about that house, she's the one, nucleus. And I can't tell you how many times from old to now that a man will come home and listen to the wife as she is the queen of the house. The man, on the other hand, he fills in the gaps, or at least tries to fill in the gap. And it's kind of rough for a guy because at the end of the day, he wasn't adapted genetically or mentally or spiritually to do those things. So he's a gap filler when it comes to the house. His primary is outside the house. Anything like, well, let's go over it real fast. How about we do that? I know this may be kind of hard to see. The darker color right here in the top right, where my mouse is woman's. Men is in the different color. And then both is the darker position right here, and neither is that little bitty thing right there. Okay. Makes decisions about furniture and decorations, which is the first one. 62% is just women. That's their thing. And men, 39, 33%, us men will say, it's your thing. Handle it. Doing the laundry is, because if you want me to do the laundry, I'm put everything in one basket, take that one basket, throw it in a washing machine, put some detergent in and turn it on. I don't know about whites and colors. I don't know about delicate, none of that stuff. I'm old school military. We had one uniform, throw that junk in a washing machine and move on from there. So 58% of women does it, 13% of men does it, and what's that? 26% both does it because we are filling in the gaps. There you go. Cleaning a house, of course, 51% of women, 9% of men, because quite honestly, when we come home, we have no clue in how clean is clean, right? What's clean? So my clean and your clean could be two different cleans. So the frustrations of a woman, you go clean the house, and 37% of men and women, we both do it together. All right, that's a good balance almost. Prepare the meals, again, 51%. 32% is actually both, 17% of men. 17% of men is kind of high, quite honestly. 51% is in a relationship, and women will prepare the meal more so than a man. It's kind of high because, again, we're getting at a point as a single man gets off the couch and stops eating Doritos or chips. He learns how to cook, and then when he meets a woman, sometimes he knows how to cook better than her. So be careful. We'll talk about that, but be careful in a social adapting position into that. Then we talk about the care of the kids. 50% of women do it, 7% of men, just men do it, and 42% both does it. Groceries and so on and so forth. And then keeping the car in good condition. Again, 12% of women keeps their car clean. 69% of men keep their car clean, and also 59% they do the yard work. So here's an idea of a social outline. And again, it's not saying that's everyone. This is just what is this 2019 Gallup poll that was done. So the idea of social is there. We try not to get into a specifics. When you have a relationship, the best thing you want to do is come together. Let me explain. Go back up here real fast. Yes. When it comes to household responsibility, it's a responsibility for both of you to come together in this. You're working, I'm working, you're tired, I'll cook, I'm tired, you cook, we're both tired, let's go out and get something to eat. We have to have that relations of understanding in that position. Again, cooking is one thing. Cleaning, I like it one way, you like it another way. Which one is better? I rather clean because you just don't know how to clean, kind of deal. Children, again, it's all about adapting. We raise the children together, and that's a good thing. There's a lot of single women out there and a lot of single men out there, single parenting men and women out there. But keep in mind, the single parenting position is okay. It's hard. Yes, it is. But do not bring someone into your picture or your relation who's not willing to give it a try of helping you take care of children. All right. Because again, in relationship, look at the balance of the men or the women, together. There's very few men doing something by themselves. Very few. It's mostly coming together right here on the right hand, the gray side, and mostly the women. So yes, it's when it comes to the household, it is women driven. Okay, they're the primary. Men are filling in the gap, and I think men are doing a good thing. Unlike here is a 2007 versus 2019. Yard work, keeping a car still high, women's are low. Paying the bills, nice and equal. Washing dishes, 48% women does it. Grocery shopping, 53% women. 58% prepared food. Doing the laundry, 68%, and so on and so forth. So we have two Gallup polls. 2007, mostly the women was in the house. 2019, most of the women are still in the house, but the guys are adapting themselves into taking care or assisting. Okay. Let's talk about conflict. Okay. If you, in selfishness, if you say to that plant right there, I want you to grow bigger. I want you to be colorful. I want you to give out more oxygen. I want. You can say that. There's no problem saying it. I want something. But at the end of the day, that's selfish. It's selfish in the context that I can say I want a man to take care of me. That's one way. But how are you going to take care of that man? See, it's okay to say to a man, hey, honey, I want a new car. I need a car. And he may look at you and is like, are you worth me buying you another car? He questions that because you're not taking care of him. I don't know a man out there who can afford it, who will not buy his wife a car if she needs a car, if she wasn't taking care of him. It is nothing wrong with asking, and there's nothing wrong with the expectation of receiving, especially if you have a certain lifestyle. But when you can't say to your partner, I'm going to do this, then that's selfish. Criticism is you ain't no good. You're just a piece of crap. Or I don't need a man. I don't need you. I don't want you, and so on and so forth. We can just you're always on that dang phone. You're always nagging. Criticism. In a relationship, there is criticism as an expression of frustration. So if you find frustration in your relationship, the expression of it is through the criticism. You never pick up them damn clothes. It's frustration. How am I expressing the frustration? By saying what I just said. We classify that as being criticism. It's a technique of expression. That's all it is. The conflict of relations is a technique, because as you blah onto your partner, they're going to react negatively. Like this plant. There's a lot of science out there that says if I continuously talk negative, that plant will wither away. So we changed the technique. If you are wanting your guy to pick up his clothes, ladies, if you want your guys to pick up his clothes, all you have to simply say is in a nice, gentle manner, say, honey, listen, you dropping your clothes on the floor is frustrating to me. And to keep us from stop arguing, What I'm going to start doing is throwing your clothes away if I see it on the floor, because if it's on the floor, that means you don't want it. Because if it's dirty, it needs to be in the hamper, and if it's in a hamper, I'll wash it. But if it ain't in a hamper, there's nothing for me to wash, and it's on the floor, it tells me you want it thrown away, like dust and dirt. So if you express to him in a nice, calm voice, the consequences of your actions is on you. I'm going to react off of your consequences, or react off it to your answer. And if you find the clothes on the floor, if I find the clothes on the floor, I'm gonna throw them away. And if it's in a hamper, we'll put it in a hamper. What do you think? Criticism can be expressed in a different way. You don't have to get upset. You just got to be smart about it. Okay? Ignoring and interpreting. Ignoring somebody. Again, well, let's go on my phone here. We're looking. Yes, what did you say, honey? Yes, okay, fine. I'm ignoring you. In context, when I ignore you, you have a feeling about that, of disrespect, of why am I even wasting my dang time with you? You're not even concerned about me. And so these are the things that our partners feel about that when we ignore them. This is where I was saying before, when it comes to criticism, I can put my phone down. I can give you my attention. And if all I'm hearing is criticism, why would I want to put my phone down? But at the same time, why would I ignore you if you have something important? So I need to put my phone down and I need to pay attention to you. And if you don't, if I don't, and you don't put your phone down while we're trying to have a serious discussion, I don't need to wait for another time. When you're ready, I need you to be ready when we need to talk about this. And if they don't want to talk about it, then quite honestly, you have your answer. If you take this conflict of, and then you add financials, if you add other things, you'll have we'll get to a separation and divorce. Okay? Interpreting is quite the opposite. Is I'm busy at work and you're calling me, you're texting me too much. I'm just using that as an example. I'm busy. I'll tell you I'm busy, and then 5 minutes later, you're trying to ask me some questions. I said, do you need something? No, I'm just asking. No, I'm busy. Okay, we have problems. Interrupting is a problem. Just be mindful of these things. Okay. Sex. Impotence. Let's talk about this real fast. When it comes to guys, 16 and to their 30s, their sexual peak is starting to climb. I mean, it's really high up there, but it's ultimately peaking, right? Then from 30s, it starts to degrade a little. On the other hand, the woman, they're flatline until roughly about 35-ish, and then they'll go into their peaking mode. The men, while they're healthy, while they're that masculine buck there, they need to get that nice sperm out of them and put it in a woman to have babies. And a woman, on the other hand, they're going through the hormones until menopause, is because of their eggs. They're running out of eggs, and the body is just trying to say, hey, here's your chance, here's your last chance. Let's get this going for a baby. So the perfect time in science is, quite honestly, is between 25 and, quite honestly, 35. The man and women, the man being young and the woman being older, coming together, or that would honestly be the best, because you're both very sexually active, and 9 out of 10 times, if you guys are trying, that will probably make it. Past that, then the man gets into number 2, lack of sexual desires. The lack of sexual desires when it comes to a man is different from a woman. A woman could adapt herself to be a little bit more lenient when it comes to other women. A man can't. just a man just simply can't do that. He can't do that. So let me give you an example of what I mean by this. And here we got some data here. So we're going into cheating. Of course, cheating is very serious in this manner. So we're going to look at, does online cheating count? And so 46% of men says yes, it's classified as adultery. Online stuff, it's considered adultery in men's eyes. 54% says it's not adultery. However, here's another statistic here. 75% of married couples approve of adult sites. Let me put this in perspective. 100 couples, right? 100 couples. That 100 couples, in that 100 couples, 75% of them wants to look at outside adult dating social sites. They're looking for other persons. They're being entertained by other persons, which in context is the reason why the lack of sexual desire when it comes specifically towards the men. When a man says this, sees this, I should say, you're ladies, you're on your platforms here, and you posted some good pictures, some sexy pictures, some nice pictures, and okay, fine, it's doable, it's not a problem. And then all of a sudden you got 10 guys giving you love and some attention. At first, a man's mentality is not going to be threatened, depending on the man, of course. It wouldn't be threatened. The part that gets threatened is what we just talked about, is who is that you were just talking to, and you say, nobody. He's nobody. Don't worry about that. You just brought doubt. As soon as you bring a doubt like that, he's done. Psychologically, he's done with you. A man is a fighter. Remember the old videos I said he has that reptilian brain. He's either going to run from you, fight you, or mate with you. A man is a fighter. And if you're having a position of other men and you're allowing other men, ladies, to come onto you, then he is in that fighting mode. Automatically, there's a threat, there's a fight position, and that hormone goes through his body, is a fight position, and he doesn't know anything other than that. So there's a competition. Competition may be physical or not, it's irrelevant, but it's a competition that you, ladies, put him in when this happens. Here's the issue with this part about it, the lack of sexual desire part about it, ladies, and that is this. He may say, oh, it's okay, yeah, that's fine, I don't care about him. He's already gave up on you. That's just where it is. He can say, oh, I don't care, but quite honestly, he does care. He just doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. But quite honestly, you already feel the lack of sexual desire towards you. Because if he allows you to do what you're doing, then guess what allows him to do what he wants to do? And quite honestly, if he's fighting with you, then he's just a matter of time before he finds a mate of sexual desires that is not you. So it's a thing that in survival, we don't talk to each other like we could. Like seriously, we don't talk to each other like we should. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me that I'm doing something wrong. Let me make some corrections. But if I tell you you're doing something wrong, as soon as you defend it, done. Because you put me in a fighting mode. And with you, that's not security. So therefore, I need security like you need security. I need security too. So that's where we get the lack of sexual desires. Now, here is some more data I want to bring out. You may not be able to see this, but I'll read it. You should be able to see my mouse where I'm at. Percentage of marriages where one or both spouses admit to indefinite infidelity. Thank you. Infidelity, either physical or emotional. 41% admits one or both spouses had infidelity. 41% of the marriage. Now, here's an interesting: um, men who admitted to commit infidelity in any relationships that they ever had. So, a man, all men, 100 men, out of all of the 100 men, have you ever did any infidelity, cheating and going behind your woman's back and so on and so forth? 57% has. Same question to the woman right here. Have you done it in any of all your relationships? And 100 women, out of 100 women, 54% says, yes, I did. So we got a problem, 57, 54. But you think that's not a problem. That's a problem because, again, if we go up here, 75% out of those relationships, 70 out of 100 relationships, couples, 75% of them wants to look at other outside sites. Okay. Here's the thing. How long average length of the affair that you had? The average length, 2 years. The 2 years is a long time. Now, why is it 2 years? Because quite honestly, 80% of the time is really with coworkers. So let's talk about this position here. Um, yeah, percentage of men who say that if I could have an affair and no one would find out, I would never get caught, right there. 74% of men said they would do it. Here's the same question. Women say if they could get away with an affair and never get caught, 68% of women. If you take, let me bring it back up because I know you can't see it, sorry. If you take 74% of men, 68% of women, out of 100 men, 100 women, right? Or 100 couples, I'm sorry, 100 couples, the men said, 74% of the men says, I would cheat on her. And then 68% of the 100 couples, the women said, I would cheat on him if I could get away with it. Here's one that I wanted to bring out with a coworker here. Percentages of men and women who admitted to have an affair with the coworkers, 36%. 36%. Okay. So this is very, very high in the position of the lack of desires with your partner. Because in the context of the lack of desires with your partner is the starting point, the foundation of a man is when you put him in a competition position. Okay? The starting of a woman is when you, because of her age, you don't sexually please her. Hence, the anxiety. Number 3, the uncertainty about sexual orientation. The anxiety or uncertainty in your sexual relations is a big one for the guys because of the performance, the stresses, not just within the relationship, but the stresses at work and so on and so forth. That anxiety is there because we know you're in your sexual peak, ladies. So, may I suggest a fix, if you will? We know the toys, the sexual toys, the vibrators, the butterflies, all of that stuff, ladies. We know that's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and so if it is a industry and you are in your sexual peak and you do have a man, quite honestly, let's put all that together. How about teach him how to use the toys on you, let him please you, and then you please him. And we're all satisfied. So the anxiety is, I need to please you for you, me and you only. So that take away that only position and introduce toys into the foreplay of this position, and then the pleasure of both partners can be fulfilled. Those couples who do that have a good sexual life together. We don't have to worry about anything outside of that relationship 9 out of 10 times. We're not getting into the swing of things. We're not getting into all of that. All of that is open relations, and that's all wrong. We want to keep it between us, the two people, and we have a healthy relationship together. Okay. In that, again, you want to pick up the foreplay a little bit. The 5 love languages book is good, and I have some down below videos, 5 love languages for starters. Then you want to introduce the romance of toys. You want to then introduce the relaxation. It is not necessarily needed, ladies, for music and all of that. It is if you're trying to get in the mood, but if both of you are trying to get into the mood, we have issues. Stop trying to get into the mood. Just have fun, foreplay, play with each other, have fun with each other. But it won't happen if there is a lack of sexual desires in your relationship. Okay. So we have to fix a lot of things. So in the sexual desires, again, fix it by slowing down on the social media position. Get with your man and try to build that relations with the toys, foreplay, and so on. Stay away from porno, because that's, again, introducing another person into your relationship. If not physical, psychological. But then again, psychological from porno, what's the difference between porno on a TV and this, and a real life person talking? So keep away from porno and then get back to loving each other. Conflict, hold your selfishness, get rid of your criticism, and stop ignoring each other, especially when you guys eat. Have a time, block time, where you guys don't have your phones with you and enjoy with each other. And you find yourself you can't enjoy with each other without the cell phone, then you already know that cell phone and the social media platforms has got that person's attention, and one person cannot compete against 10, 20, or 100 or 1,000. Then we get into, real fast, household, fill in the gaps. This role playing is no longer needed. It's what's needed in a relationship. I'm working, you're working, we need to work together. Let's come together, fill in the gaps. Number 2 is communication. All right, listen to me, I listen to you. Let's work this together out. Transparency, communicate more what you're doing, who you're talking to, and so on and so forth. And then the culture differences. Man, it's really getting pretty bad out there, because you got start to learn each other's culture, respect one another. You're not trying to lose yours, you're trying to add. They didn't lose theirs, they're adding. So adds more to yours, and bring that together, because if you don't, and you guys start having kids together or have kids together, then we got some issues. And then, of course, money. If you don't get this money thing together, start learning about financial stuff and economic stuff, and especially when it comes to inflation and investing for your relationships and your future relationships, then we're really going to have some issues. 5 most common relationship problems. That is what I think in today's time. I believe that's what we have that we need to work on. Like that plant, find out your partner's needs. Let's work on these 5 things, and we'll go from there. Let me know what you guys think. I know this is long. I'll put some time zones on this, so you guys can fast forward to each section. And if nothing else, please have a great day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. DM me if you also can or need to. I'm here to help you guys. And if nothing else, please have a great day, week, and I'll see you when I see you. All right, bye-bye.